Hi. Hello. I'm not totally sure if I started or not, but I'm pretty sure I got the camera on. Welcome everybody again to Greg Struve's Depression and Anxiety Solutions. This is a Facebook group designed for folks who want some practical solutions for depression and anxiety. And the idea behind what we're doing here is that certain information, when it's distributed and given to folks, can by itself just offer some healing and some help. So I hope this can be of some benefit to you. Today we're going to talk about panic attacks, what they are, and how to deal with them. So a panic attack is something that was brought up by a couple different people, both in the comments, and then I had somebody reach out to me with a direct message and say, Greg, I've been struggling with panic attacks on mostly a daily basis, I think since 2014 or 2015, and I don't know what to do. I've tried medication, I've tried a bunch of different stuff, and nothing seems to work. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how a person approaches that and why it's happening. So first of all, let's understand what a panic attack is. A panic attack, for those who are not aware, has some predictable symptoms. So the symptoms of a panic attack are shortness of breath, and I won't write all these down. Shortness of breath, I don't think I need to write everything down here, but got to make it big enough people can read it. Shortness of breath, feeling like you're going to die, or going to die, or just regular old panic. You don't always feel like you're going to die. Heart palpitations, so strong beating in the heart, pain in the chest, sometimes nausea, okay, feel sick to your stomach, and just basically get to a place of real terror in a time or a situation or a setting where it's not appropriate, okay? If a lion is chasing you, you should be having, in fact, some form of panic attack. Your body should be mobilized for you to run away. If you're waiting in line at the DMV, maybe you should have a panic attack because it's the DMV, but probably not, honestly. It's really annoying and really challenging, but you're basically safe. Your life isn't in danger. And that actually is the answer to one of the first questions. Where do panic attacks come from? So if we want to understand the origin of a panic attack, we need to understand the nervous system on a fundamental level. And I know I draw this picture every time, but I think it's worth repeating. Here's the brain. Okay, we got three parts. We got the smart part in the front. Okay, that's your cerebral cortex. That's the fun part that tells you how to do all kinds of fun human things. It's what makes us more fun to talk to than our cats. Some of the time. Sometimes I think a cat is actually much more fun than a person, but for the most part, most people can do things cats can't do, and that's because of our friend, the frontal lobe or the cerebral cortex. Okay, we'll call it frontal lobe today. Frontal lobe, human brain. Okay, back here is the mammal, and that's the fight-flight system. And the mammal brain, for our purposes today, I'll remind you that it's completely online and developed by the age of 6 years. This develops from age 3 to about age 24, give or take. But by 6 years old, the mammal brain is completely done. And that's about how intelligent it is. It doesn't talk very well. That's why you can't tell yourself, I'm in line at the DMV. I don't need to have a panic attack right now. I'm safe. No tigers. No person going to jump out and attack me. No car to hit me. I'm okay. You can't tell this part of the body that because it doesn't understand, because it's not very rational. It's about 6 years old developmentally. So here is the thing. A panic attack is a flight response gone awry. It's a flight response that isn't working. So what do we mean by that? Well, in a normal situation, if you're just hanging out, having a good time, okay, you'll be in what's called social engagement, the front part of the brain that I just conveniently erased. Okay, hanging out like I am now. I'm in social engagement with a group, albeit of anonymous Facebook watchers, although if I was looking at my computer screen, I could see who was here. I love Facebook Live. But I'm having a social interaction, and we're talking about things that are very much here in the front of the brain. Now, if something happened and I suddenly became very afraid, let's say I heard a big bang outside my door, and somebody started screaming and people started running by my window. whoa, I would become very concerned and I would move up here into the fight-flight zone, okay? And the more people running by and the more screaming and the more loud noises I heard, the more upset I would get, okay? At the very top of this threshold is terror. If I believed my life was in danger, let's say somebody let loose a wild and crazy lion in the hallway. Oh my gosh, everybody's running away. The lion comes through the door, and he looks at me, and he gives me the look that says, buddy, your lunch, okay? That's terrifying. On a core level, this part of my brain says, do everything you can to escape. And I go into a terror response, and it does all kinds of really predictable things that are really beyond the scope of this particular video, but we do our best to get away. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. The terror response, let's say I do get away. Normally what happens in the animal kingdom is I get away and this thing comes down, and lots of different things happen in this process, and I'll have to explain why another time, because again, I always get self-conscious. I really want these program movements, basically. Their body kind of goes crazy on them, more or less. And then when they're done, they're back down here and they're done. Animals don't get PTSD. Okay? If a lion chases a gazelle and almost catches it but doesn't quite, the gazelle doesn't have flashbacks. Okay? It doesn't have panic attacks because this thing discharges. But human beings, what we like to do is we stop right here. We say, oh, nope, I'm not going to shake. I'm not going to cry. I don't want anybody to think I'm scared. Don't want people to think I'm scared. I'm not going to get angry. Good people don't get mad. And I stop all these responses. And as a result, if it continued to record or stop, and I think it continued to record, so I'm just going to keep on going. It was all very exciting. I filmed this with a phone. So the thing to understand here, okay, is I have stopped this process, and as a result, I've stopped the brain from settling. Once the brain stops settling, now I'm in a spot where I can get into, and this is another important part, stimulus and response. This is called a conditioned response. And basically, it's really simple to understand, okay? Normally, I like cars. This thing will happen, and I'll hit a panic attack once I go up here. So basically, panic attacks are a function of, first, the terror response never getting worked out of the nervous system, and second, a conditioned response to new stimuli. So a conditioned response to new situations. And so what happens is the body gets, and all of a sudden I'm in the DMV, I'm in line, and there's a bang outside, and boom, I have a panic attack. Okay, because I'm a war veteran, and that bang outside, the car backfiring, whatever it is, okay, the conditioning is attached to the panic attack. So that's what panic attacks are. As far as how to work with them, I may post more about that later, but I feel like I've run a little longer on this than I expected. What I will say is you want to avoid what's called exposure response prevention therapy. It's what the majority of the armed forces do with their post-traumatic stress disorder clients who have panic attacks, and it just breaks my heart. But it basically puts people into a situation where they end up re-exposing themselves to terrifying situations, and they do it enough times that they end up in freeze, which means their symptoms go away, but they also feel a sense of deadness, loneliness, and profound isolation, even in a crowd and even around loved ones. They can't access emotion. I mean, it's really a profoundly lonely place to be. And yeah, it really is a problem. So don't do exposure response prevention therapy. That's the evidence-based approach to panic attacks now. Instead, find a therapist who understands either EMDR or somatic experiencing. A normal talk therapist won't be able to do much for you because panic attacks don't exist up here. Talk therapy isn't going to do a whole lot of good. So, I really hope that that's been helpful for you. I'm actually also pretty excited to see if my phone is still recording, so that's kind of interesting too. We'll find out, I guess. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you have a question, please post it in the comments. If you know somebody who has panic attacks, take a second and send them a direct message right now and encourage them to join this group and watch this video. I think you can post this video and share it to your timeline, but I'm not sure because it's a closed group, so you might not be able to. If you push the like button, people are more likely to see it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. It's great fun for me to answer questions and talk to folks. and find out other ways that I can be helpful. And if you have any topics that you would like to get covered, please send me a direct message. Last but not least, if you or somebody you know is in need of some therapy or some life coaching, I'm happy to help, and I have a group of people who I have trained over the years who are also happy to help you, and we can generally make it work financially for you. We do a ton of online work. So if you're having some panic attacks and you want them to go away, obviously can't guarantee anything, but I've certainly seen it happen a lot. Good luck. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. I was a little late this week. I try to do it at 2:30 on Tuesdays and then kind of randomly post throughout the week, but we'll see you next week on Tuesday. And now let's see if this thing recorded or not. Oh, it looks like it did. Yes.